There you can see the two sides facing off. I can see the American flags on one side, and then you can see the Muslim crowd. They look almost the same size.
Can I see your sign?
Yeah.
Here, come over this way a little bit so the light's on.
Look at Biggs giving camera direction.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah, there's the Charlie Hebdo. Yeah, we see the Charlie Hebdo cartoon.
It says, "Don't mess with Texas."
Yeah. Well, and that's actually when they had, if you want to be ISIS people.
2, Texas +2.
Right. Well, that's why.
Biggs, what's your opinion? Do you think violence could kick off at any time, or does it look like it's just going to be a shouting match?
Yeah, there's definitely some violent, angry people on the other side right now. I mean, they're coming out and screaming at people and flipping everyone off. Definitely not being peaceful.
Well, how do you feel?
I'll tell you that.
How do you feel knowing that ISIS was making some threats on Twitter, or some of their wannabe jihadists were threatening this event on Twitter?
And now on the other side, they're flying the flag upside down. I don't know if you guys can see that.
On the other side?
That's just a sign of distress. I don't think they realize that. That's just a sign of distress. That means your country is in distress.
Well, and that's the thing that's so important to let people know, is that this is America, and the First Amendment is very important to us. People have died to ensure that we have that right.
And I don't know if the Muslim side, if these people are supporting what ISIS is doing or supporting what Al-Qaeda is doing, but one thing's for sure, and it's come out, we talked about it right in the beginning, but we are funding Al-Qaeda. We jump-started ISIS, essentially, into what's going on now to use them as a proxy army, and now they're running wild. And that's what happens with these incidents. I was reading an article, I've got one up here from the Wall Street Journal from May 25th, talking about the Battle of Ramadi. Now, let me ask you this, Biggs.
Yeah.
So the Battle of Ramadi started around May 5th. It talks about that the Islamic State launched an attack. Iraqis held them off with helicopters in the Golden Division. And then on the 13th, ISIS established a sniper nest and started taking out some people. Then on the 14th, they bring in an armored bulldozer.
Yeah, we're live right now on the news.
And spend over an hour clearing out a concrete barricade. Now, how come we didn't have any drones up in the air watching this and taking out this armored bulldozer? Biggs, let me ask you that. How could we, if we're supporting with air support on this campaign, how do we not take out this armored bulldozer that was breaking through the blockades that they put going into Ramadi?
Oh, I mean, that would be easy to do.
Exactly. And then after that, they drive in 27 Humvees that have been converted into, they give it a name, VR, let's see, it's really interesting what they call them. Vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices, or V-beds. And most of these are made from captured U.S. Military armored vehicles designed to be impervious to small arms fire. So they were to drive these into the city, blow up the outer defenses, and then invade.
Wow.
And we didn't have any air support, and that's how it fell. They were able to cut the groups in half. The Golden Division was cut off from the rest, and then everybody retreated. I mean, if that's not picture perfect, telltale evidence that we don't care what's going on with ISIS, we're just letting them run wild.
Right. Think about the people
and
that
we're dropping
died.
them weapons. The Iraqis are mad. And it's probably because the Iraqis have been coming out saying, hey, you're dropping them weapons. We've seen your helicopters. We fired at your helicopters because we see them bringing them weapons. It's ridiculous. Joe Biggs, your comments, if you could hear any of that.
No, you were cutting out on that. You were saying about in Ramadi how it fell.
Yeah, it just seemed like there was ample opportunity for drone strikes to be used in this fashion to repel an attack.
I mean, there was ample opportunity to take out ISIS back this time last year.
Oh yeah,
they were convoying in from the northern part down into Iraq. I mean, we could have done successive bracketing. There's all kinds of things we could have used. We could have done, hit the first convoy, stop the convoy, then hit the last vehicle so no one can back up, and then you got it pinned right there, and then you just start nailing them with, airstrikes. It'd have been over with. We wouldn't be where we are today, and yet we allowed them to come into Iraq. We allowed them to take it back over after we found a reason to go into Iraq for these weapons of mass destruction that we were told, and then we send countless human beings' lives to go over there and die for something that was a lie, and now we're letting this Frankenstein monster that we've created come back and destroy the country that we helped try to get back. And now they're taking everything over. We're accidentally airdropping supplies to them. You know, I mean, it's just out of control.
And then we're
Twice. Doesn't that
offering
happen
no
twice?
air support at all.
Yeah.
You know, at least if you're going to say we're going to offer air support and drone strikes and missile strikes, then do it. You know, don't let city after city just fall and go, well, we don't know what's going on. But don't show video of the ISIS convoys. Don't show video of that, because that's old news. That's what they came out. The Obama administration went to Fox and said, don't show video of that anymore, because we don't like it. Because you know why? Because you see them in brand new vehicles. You see them in Humvees that we've delivered there and just left for them to take. It's totally ludicrous. Totally ludicrous. And then Judicial Watch comes out. Secret Pentagon report reveals U.S. created ISIS as a tool to overthrow Syria's President Assad.
Right.
I mean, it's all the proof is there, and it's stuff we've been saying for a long time. It's not, we didn't just come up with this. You go search, just go to the Alex Jones channel and search for videos on We Created ISIS, and you'll find tons of videos. We've been saying it since day one that this is a proxy army that we created. Hey, Joe, if you can hear us, tell us what's going on right now out in Phoenix on location at the Islamic Cultural Center. Or is it Islamic Community Center? I keep saying it wrong. Islamic Community Center in Phoenix, Arizona. Looks like he's turning.
Okay, there we go. All right, yeah. So
tell us what's going on, Joe.
There's a lot of people out here. There's screaming going on both sides, mostly from the other side, screaming over. And then you've got some people, looks like they've kind of infiltrated and came on our side. So the cops have been kind of like walking around, keeping an eye on them.
Yeah, keep an eye on those people, because those are the ones that will attack. This is exactly... I guess they're taking right from the communist playbook. We had to deal with a smaller version of this a few months ago. Oh, there's an evil gun carrier, Biggs.
Yeah.
Are you scared?
Oh, you're
There's a gun.
There's some open carry.
Well, I actually have my HD firearms rifle on me right now.
Oh my goodness! How dare you?
So
How dare you
that's why
protect
everyone
yourself.
coming up talking to you. So Davis Absolute, he's a Phoenix native, and he's asking you to interview.
It's got the tripod on it, or the bipod. Very good.
Look at that smile on his face.
And I've shot that same gun. That gun shoots like a Cadillac.
Close, overheard him talking about wielding knives and coming across into the crowd.
Well, we know there's
knives. You hear that? They said
wielding knives, of course.
Yeah, no, the guy just said that he's like a security guy.
Uh-huh.
He said that there's word that there's guys on the other side that have knives, and they've heard him say that they're going to come jump, like bum rush the line and come over here and start stabbing people.
What? Okay, tell that to the cops.
Do the cops know this?
Rob,
sure.
have they never heard you don't bring a knife to a gunfight?
Yeah, but that's going to get, oh my God.
That's gonna be crazy.
This is
Yeah.
almost insane.
Yeah, you don't. Joe Jennings popped in. I don't know if that went out over the air, but he said you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. And you've got a lot of armed patriots there.
So Biggs,
Man.
we have a Davis Absolute on Twitter. He's a Phoenix native, and he's asking you to interview Muslims and peaceful Christian protesters that are in the blue shirts. So I guess.
They've blocked us off. We can't go over there.
Well, I think they're on both sides. They're the ones in the blue shirts. So I guess there's a big group of them. We'll see.
You might
what
have just
they're-
passed one right there. There's a blue shirt right there.
Yeah, but that's just a dirty T-shirt. Those guys have stuff written on theirs over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're like they're darker blue. I'll see, but I mean they've got lines up.
Yeah. So we're getting a lot of questions, people wondering if this is part of Jade Helm, if this is going to be used to foment civil unrest and be used for that. Of course, obviously, if a knife and a gunfight starts going off, that's going to change
so
the
look at
game.
this. The guy over here with the hat on, the group looking.
Yeah.
That's the guy that's right. He's the one that's been saying he's going to come over here apparently and start stabbing people.
Really?
He's,
The shorter guy right in front of you.
well, we don't want
Yeah, I
to.
can't get across. As soon as you get close to this thing, they come at you.
Phoenix is a hotbed of people. I've been there a couple times. It's a hotbed of people who are into being free and living free.
there's still something
And,
going on.
you know, when it, you know, the truth comes out that, hey, these guys were at a mosque in your backyard. I agree with what they're doing out here, coming out and just stating, hey, we know what's going on. If you're going to be a terrorist factory, we're going to have a problem with that. We didn't have a problem with you before when you were doing your Muslim thing, praying, you know, keeping to yourselves, or just not going out and provoking, you know, but if you're creating shooters who are going out and attacking people, well, now there's a problem.
Right.
You know, now we need to Now we need to, man up and show up and just let people know that we're not going to take it.
So what do you think is the right position to take? Because I know there are some peaceful protesters in the crowd who are trying to bring everyone kind of together and don't want this thing to get out of hand, because obviously if someone rushes the line with a knife,
it could get a lot worse.
That's not going to be, it's not going to be good there tonight. But I mean, what do you think is...
Personally, I like it when people come out in a crowd and voice their opinions, and then you find out who really wants to talk and who really isn't interested in talk. Right now, it looks like, people holding American flags, holding signs. They're just saying, hey, not in my backyard. You're not going to become a terrorist breeding ground in my backyard.
Right. Well, I guess...
I mean, they obviously didn't have a problem with them building their Islamic Community Center right there because it's pretty big.
Right.
It takes up at least half a block. That whole
it's
section.
right there by the university and federal buildings and everything like that. But so the gentleman that Biggs was speaking with initially, really powerful stuff that he was saying there, and like that it's a cartoon, it's a drawing on paper, and that was, worth someone losing their life over. And if we bow down to that, then, what are we? And that's kind of exactly what happened in DC. They had, they were wanting to put up posters for this Muhammad drawing contest. And rather than do that, they just stopped for the next 6 months, any PSAs or anything like this that would be kind of provocative. Yeah. They just shut it all down. No signs there in the DC Metro because they didn't want this particular event or the Muhammad cartoon or whatever to go up in the Metro DC there. Now, as the Metro Authority, were they just thinking, okay, this is going to be a target. Someone's going to come blow up the tunnel. But then there's a thing. Now we have to censor ourselves. Because of a cartoon. Right. We are not, we're not going to let advertisers or PSAs or things go up because we don't want to get bombed. This is America.
And it's like you said, when this is close to a university, you look at universities around the country, they're all playing this free speech zone game. We have to approve what you're going to say. We have to see what you're going to do. You have to have a permit. You have to go into a zone. And that's not what this country is all about. This country is about people expressing themselves and expressing their ideas, as long as your ideas and actions don't interfere with anyone else's. Although there's a lot of spots where we've taken that away, especially when you look at, the way people want to medicate themselves in this country. They're only allowed to do it the big pharma way is the only possible way you could actually heal yourself. Any other way
message is government approved.
Is wrong, or you're a conspiracy theorist. But when you get to this self-censorship level, this is how the terrorists win.
Right.
This is it. When people don't say anything, when people are afraid to speak out, when people get censored from we're going to get rid of all PSAs. Now we're going to punish everybody.
Right. No one can say anything because we don't want anyone to be offended, because those people tend to go and chop people's heads off.
And all this is done by our government creating terror groups. They created Al-Qaeda in the 80s. We're having all these problems now because of Al-Qaeda in the 80s.
Right.
That's it.
And we're still continuing, even though we've seen what Osama bin Laden turned into and all of that, we're still continuing to arm and fund and train the rebels now, thinking they're not going to turn around and be the same thing 10 years down the line.
And it's our open worship of Saudi Arabia and their regime there. We don't condemn them for doing anything. So they become a breeding ground for terrorists. And that's where you look. Most of the hijackers came from Saudi Arabia. They didn't come from Afghanistan. They didn't come from Syria. I think maybe one did. But most of them came from Saudi Arabia.
Right.
No invasion of Saudi Arabia.
It was Iraq, who didn't even have anything to do with it.
Oh, we just happen to have bases on Saudi Arabia. Oh, we helped them out in the first Gulf War.
All right. So I'm getting word now that we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We'll go right back to the live coverage if anything
does break
there.
Yeah, we'll be on standby. And hey, why don't you guys pull up? I think John Bound did a second report today. You got a description of that right there. It's about what Obama's doing.
Court battle for the illegals. Obama must destroy middle-class America.
Right. Instead of rising the tide and making prosperity happen everywhere, we're going to lower the dock level down to the least common denominator. So we're all wallowing in filth and scum, going, please just give us our digital soup line card so we can eat. That's where the policies of this country are going. They're not for freedom and individuality and prosperity. It's going in the complete opposite direction. It's to drag us down with the rest of the third world instead of getting the third world out of that because we could do it. We have the technology.
Oh, yeah.
Worldwide, everybody could be, we could make easily a paradise in this world if we just started
Absolutely.
changing. We don't let bankers run everything. That's
If
the
the
problem.
people that Rex Jones